Today, I'm going to whip out the basics on how to take care of your energy field. We'll talk about how do you become aware of the energy field when you're just starting out and don't have a lot of experience with being able to use your intuitive sight. Or even if you have some intuitive sight, what are the tool sets that you can use to better dive into the complexities of your energy field in order to better take care of it? As you go through this process, you'll be so much more aware of how the energy field functions, as well as beginning to be attuned to the energy fields of others, which is pretty cool. Stick with me as we delve into caring for your energy field. Hey y'all, I'm Drake Nix and you are watching Drake Nix Vision. I apologize for not putting out any videos in a while. My shop was a little bit too cold and I also just got some new technology that I've been learning how to use. So it set me back a little bit, but I'm hoping that now that I have it set up, I will be a little bit more consistent again, releasing videos every Wednesday. As a holistic educator and soul coach, I help people like you bring the soul into their personal growth as well as into planetary development. It is my purpose, it is my passion, and I'm here to help you find what you're meant to do to help us to move towards a more creative and loving world for everybody. Because it's possible and we're doing it. So today I'm talking about our energy field. And in some ways, I kind of feel like this is the beginning. And I say that because when I was first learning how to do journey sessions, this was the place that I really started to make sense of how the energy field works and how I learned to navigate the energy field so that I can do the soul lessons that I do with people every day. If you've watched previous videos that I've put out, I've talked about meditation and the importance of meditation. It's a great place to start because in meditating, in basic meditation, Buddhist meditation, whatever type of meditation you might be looking at that has the basic premise of conscious awareness of self. So you might be observing the breath, you might be observing the body, you might be observing the thoughts, the visualizations, anything that is coming to you in that state. I have meditated for thousands of hours over the course of the last decade and a half. And through my time of meditating, it has opened up my spiritual sight and made it easier for me to see. So I see through my third eye, as I've talked about. I also see and feel through my fingertips, and it puts together this like very holistic holographic image in front of me, or series of images where I get to move through complex energy systems and see where blocks are, what the themes are, what the soul contracts are. It's blown me open to all of this potential, but it started with basic meditation. I do think that there is a practice that you can utilize even today, even if you can't particularly see anything, that will help you in beginning to move towards being able to manage your own energy field and see from a more holistic perspective how your energy field functions. This is something that my mentor taught me when I first started working with her many years ago. And if you work with me, I often teach this to people starting out as well because it is so helpful as a tool that they can use when they leave the session. It is also the primary tool I use every time I start a session and come back to occasionally through the session, depending on where the journey takes us. But it is a way that it gives me a strong, grounded visualization that I can come back to again and again. When we work in the spiritual world, we are working with metaphor oftentimes. So the metaphor that I use in order to manage my energy field here is a tree. So we'll start doing this together right now. I want you to take a big deep breath and we're going to bring it into the heart space and you're going to breathe it out. And you're going to imagine that there is a sphere around you, if you can. And a big part of this to start out is basically like playing make-believe. If you're like, I can't see anything. Well, it doesn't matter. Pretend like you can. Imagine it with your mind's eye, your creativity, like when you were a child and you could just come up with things and pretend like you were the king or queen or a mermaid or whatever it was that you were into as a kid. You saw that in your mind's eye and then you allowed it to come out. So in this practice, we are engaging our imagination attention to begin to fill in the blanks around us. So as our eyes are closed, we're seeing the sphere that is around us. We take a big deep breath into the heart space and we bring it down. We bring it down through the heart chakra, through the solar plexus, through the sacral, through the root, and into the earth. And we allow the energy to move down like roots growing out from the base of our spine, growing down, down, down into the earth, seeing the roots going through the soil and the rock layers and the aquifers. We want to grow down, down, down as far as you possibly can. Now, as I am looking at my clients and seeing them do this, I can tap into whether or not their roots are even growing down. If you do this exercise and you find that your roots want to be somewhat shallow, you might be a somewhat ungrounded person. You might be a little bit more airy. You like to stay up here. You don't particularly want to ground in too much. You also might have a lot of trauma that makes you feel really unsafe, scared to be on the planet. So as you're looking at your energy fields, you will be able to see this reflected in the ways that your roots are growing down. When I look at people's energy fields and I go on soul journeys, sometimes I see areas where the roots are not growing very well, where some of the roots have died off, where there is a block in the root systems, where there are other things living in the root systems that maybe shouldn't be, or maybe they should be. And it speaks to the metaphor of soil health, which ultimately talks about the health of the human being. I can get all that information just from looking at their root systems. So this is something that you can practice on your own. When you are looking at your roots, take a look at how they're doing. And if you notice they're a little bit short, they need a little bit more love, you take a deep breath and you pour that energy into the roots and allow it to grow down more and more, filling with each breath the spaces in between to allow those roots to keep growing. If you're unable to do this, and if you're unable to take care of these spaces of your roots, you can't imagine yourself simply trimming off the roots, because sometimes it does help to do the metaphorical work. Okay, I see that my roots need water, so I'm going to imagine water going to those places. I can see that there is something in the way, I'm going to move it. Well, those things represent metaphors for things that are actually going on in your life. And so to properly deal with them, you have to go into the trauma and bring it up, or go into the discomfort, go into the belief that is not serving you. It has to come to the surface before you can remove it and actually reclaim healthy roots in that space. If you have difficulty with this, hit me up. This is what I do, and I would love to show you how to move through those spaces. It is much easier with a guide. But again, just start getting the practice of becoming aware of where your roots are, how they're looking, and what they might need to feel a little bit more grounded and a little bit more stable. The next part of this, we breathe through the heart and we bring it up. We bring it up the throat chakra, the third eye, the crown, and we bring it up, up, up like branches spreading out up and around us. And so we imagine that we're stretching those branches up to the sky and we're allowing them to fully expand outwards. While our roots are very reflective of our personal life, things that are behind the scenes, the emotional landscapes that we sometimes are or are not aware of, our branches represent our more forward creative and community pursuits. So this is the area that I can see what projects people are working on, who they're hanging out with, because sometimes there's just people that are taking up way too much space there. And sometimes I see that the fruit is rotting off and needs to be harvested because certain projects in their life are no longer working and they need to remove them from their life. This can go in an infinite amount of directions, but you can begin looking at what is the quality of this landscape of my branches as I'm paying attention to it. What season am I in? Start really basic. How big are they? Do they have leaves? Are they barren like the winter landscape around you? Or maybe you're in fall time or it's in the heat of the summer. Pay attention to where the branches are as you look to them to get a better sense of your personal health and where you are in the seasons of your own personal transformation and evolution. So as you do this activity, you see your roots growing down into the earth, and you see the branches going up into the sky. And the next piece of this is that we take a big deep breath in. We bring the energy up from the earth, that divine, higher dimensional earth energy. We see it go through the roots, through our root chakra, through our sacral, through our solar plexus, and into our heart space. And we see that expand out and around us. And then with another breath, we take that energy in and we pull the energy down from the sky through the top of our crown, through our third eye, through our throat chakra, and into our heart space, allowing that higher dimensional galactic energy to move through, out through the heart, melding with the earthly energy to create the full range of your sphere. So, recap, putting the energy into the earth, putting our branches up to the sky, bringing the energy up from the roots, through the base of our spine, through the heart, and out into the sphere. And similarly, pulling the energy down from the cosmos through those branches, allowing it to go through the top of our head, through our third eye, our throat, our heart, and into the sphere as well. This is a great practice to begin attuning to earth energy and to cosmic energy, and to practice using the heart space. As you work with your sphere, we always want to make sure that your heart is the central point, because as we do this, it's always from a soul first perspective, and we are looking to bring out more unconditional love, more feelings of empathy, more feelings of compassion through the alteration, through the activation of this energy field, so that you can be a better steward to the relationships around you, in your career, in the way that you move through the world, so that that sphere that you have actually then better impacts those around you. Looking at the sphere, again, just like how we looked at the roots or we looked at the branches to see what are we noticing about them, we can also take notice from the sphere itself. I'm not going to go too deeply into that today, because the sphere that I am talking about, infinite, just infinite possibilities of what your energy can hold. And sometimes we need to do a little bit deeper work to really see what it is holding and why it's holding on to such things, or where the energy is coming from, if it's yours or somebody else's. But for a very basic technique, you can breathe and imagine beautiful, sparkly energy moving through the sphere, going around you, watching it clear out all aspects of the sphere like you're sweeping it out. Anything that you don't need, we're asking it to leave the sphere. Anything that you do need is allowed to be here if it is in alignment with your soul's highest growth. We can also program the outside of our sphere. So we are asking for protection. We are asking for health. We are asking for vibrancy. We are asking for creativity. Whatever it is that you're looking to put into your sphere, those are great places to start. Think about things that you can do to initially protect that energy field as you're getting used to it, because as you grow accustomed to reading it, to moving energy through it, through using it to move towards the goals and dreams that you have for your life, you're going to see a real expansion happening that will be really beautiful and fun for you to experience. But it all starts at the basics. So practice the basics today, if that's where you are. If you are looking to go a little bit deeper right now into your spiritual practice, I'm here for you to teach you both the basics and to go deeper, so that we can actually go to the unconscious beliefs, patterns, and traumas that exist within the field, so that we can bring them to the light, love them, and transform them, so that we can continue to clear the energy field, so that you can vibrate and shine in the ways that you are meant to in this lifetime. I hope that's helpful for you. I would love to hear what you notice when you were doing this meditation. Drop it in the comments. Also, like and subscribe if you have not already. Share with a friend. And I look forward to seeing you guys soon.